So you want to know about urban exploration? Let me tell you about it, or at least let me tell you what I know about it. It's a hobby that I decided to jump into a few years back, and it's turned into an addiction of sorts. I really like history, but I like to explore locations that most people wouldn't think would be beautiful or be interesting at all to explore. So I like to go into abandoned buildings and locations and places that have been left to rot. Places that people have forgotten and people don't see anything but just rubble and would rather see the place torn down than being left there. So with that being said, I mean, if you want to get into this hobby, you might as well just drive around. See what's in the area, see what places are just left there. I mean, I don't suggest you go in breaking people's houses and destroying stuff because that's not part of the hobby. The whole thing is to find something, and the way that I look for it is find something that would be fun to photograph, something that would be beautiful to you, and something that would be interesting, I guess, to yourself and the viewer if you were to video or photograph the place. And if the place has really interesting history, then that's even better. But a lot of people have gone into this hobby just because they're looking for a location to tag, which would be adding graffiti to it, or just set it on fire, which has been something that seems to be happening more often. I mean, the graffiti part's always going to happen, and you're going to encounter that. That is just part of what happens. But some people ask me why a lot of these locations aren't public. Why can't you just go online and look up, hey, what's abandoned in your state, such as Florida or any other state? And you're probably not going to find a whole lot of stuff right away. Or if someone's being very open about the location, it just means it got demolished and there's really no point in going. But there are a lot of communities that you can go and you can not ask, but you can share what you have found and they will share stuff in return, which is actually a really nice thing because it really weeds out the people that are lazy and just want a handout when it comes to a location. And the thing about that is that this hobby, it's not really for everybody. A lot of people get scared in locations where you can't really see, locations that you can barely breathe, or places that you have to climb up walls or go into pipes and just do all sorts of crazy stuff. This is a hobby that you should really be into, but it has a lot of pluses and minuses about everything. So it just comes down to, do you want to be part of it? Do you like urban exploration enough that you could potentially get hurt? I mean, I'm not saying that you're going to die. I mean, I guess you could if you start jumping around in an old building and go to the top floor and you just fall through the floors, but I don't suggest going alone. Even though I've done a couple of explores alone, not the best idea. You have to understand that these buildings, people are there. Sometimes the homeless are there. Don't attack them. I mean, it's really no point in doing that. You're gonna scare the person. I mean, just make yourself known if that comes down to it. Don't hurt anybody. I mean, don't hurt yourself. Be safe above all. Try to go with somebody else just to make sure you don't fall in a hole and hurt yourself. I mean, somebody can at least help you. And try to be smart about your locations. Don't go to places where you know you're just gonna get in trouble. And if they've told you to stay away, I mean, just stay away. I mean, if you've been caught before and the police showed up and told you to leave, don't get rude with the cops. I mean, that's just dumb. So it is a hobby that, I mean, yes, you can potentially get in trouble with the law. Depends on what you do. I try to go into places that are pretty much just left to nature and very abandoned, and that nobody's really doing anything. Plus, I don't destroy anything. I don't take anything. I'm not out to steal stuff. I really like to just see the place, leave it as it was, and just take my pictures. and walk away. A lot of people don't do that. So it's become sort of a hobby that you can be frowned upon if you go and do it, because a lot of people assume that you're going to go do something bad. But aside from that, the hobby's awesome, and you meet a lot of really interesting people. A lot of people love history. A lot of people love to explore and run around. Plus, it's something different. I guess from having a job that requires you to be at home all the time and you're working in a room with no windows, it comes down to me wanting to be outside, me wanting to explore, wanting to go to places that a lot of people don't think about and take photos, which is another hobby of mine, and it's really fun to be able to do that. So this is more of a question to you guys. Would you urban explore in a building that is dilapidated in a city or a town? I mean, if you had the chance to explore a castle that's been left behind, or a church, or a school, or a hospital, would you do it? Would it be something that you would be into, or is this something that is just, no, completely opposite of anything that you would ever want to do? I'm just curious to see who else shares this hobby that we either call Urbex or we call urban exploration. Just would be interested to see if what I do is that odd, I guess, for a girl to do, since it seems a very male-paced hobby. So just tell me what you think about it, and if you are one, your experiences and things that you would like to tell other explorers, and I mean anything you would like to add. So I hope this was a little informative about urban exploration, and if you have any questions, be sure to ask. Thank you for watching.